Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barry Robinson and friends, seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. To view, please go to your URL and type in capital letters our own channel, starting with capital letters RBRIMO. That's Ronald Barry Robinson, In My Opinion, to view our latest productions. I want to welcome Mr. Michael Kelly from Mott Community College, the executive director of Mott Community College, to the In My Opinion Show. Welcome to the In My Opinion Show, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. It's a pleasure to be here.
Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2013. There is a bond proposal for Mott Community College, Flint, Michigan. This bond proposal is a renewal authorization to sell $50 million in new bonds over the next several years. As I've stated, it's a bond renewal authorization and not a tax. Mott Community College is a great institution of higher learning, serving several communities with distinction, and has for many years. This bond proposal will enable Mott Community College to continue its expansion and graduate quality and job-ready men and women in many disciplines that will provide our communities, state, and world with well-educated men and women well into the 21st century. Mr. Kelly, please tell our millions of viewers worldwide why this bond proposal is needed, and when passed, what can our prospective communities world expect?
Well, thank you for having me on the show and giving me a chance to talk about the November 5th ballot renewal, which will be on the ballot throughout Genesee County. Mott Community College is a county-wide institution, and you can vote for it if you're a resident of any one of the 21 school districts in Genesee County. Now, the point of this is that it is a renewal of our bonding authority. Bonding authority allows us to sell bonds, and the voters of Genesee County have, for many, many years, been supporting us this way, and we are not going to increase your taxes. We understand what's going on out there. We're part of the same world. We're part of the same community. So what we want to point out is that this will not raise your taxes. It will be a continuation of a 0.87 of a mil to sell bonds for the maintenance improvement of the infrastructure at the college. Now, it's important to note, Mr. Robinson, that this is not just money we get to do whatever we want with. This is money which is very restricted by law. We can't use it to pay salaries. We can't use it to pay benefits. We can't use it for operation. This is for infrastructure and equipment. This is to maintain, improve, and equip the actual physical facilities, the buildings, and the equipment that the college uses in all of its programs.
Well, that's wonderful, because, you know, we hear in the news a lot of times when these bond proposals are passed that the powers that be, they manipulate those funds and use it for other resources and sources, or to fill up their or supplement, you know, their budgets.
Well, we all understand it, because all of us who work at Mott College, we've all taken cuts. We've had salary freezes and reductions, increased costs of benefits that we have to pay out of our own pockets. So we understand. You know, we're part of the community. We understand, but these are restricted by law. State law says we cannot use that. We can't take it and give anybody a bonus. We can't take it and buy somebody, some new textbooks or anything like that. These are specifically restricted to infrastructure, buildings, maintenance, improving, restoration, building. These are completely controlled funds, and we are not by law allowed to use them for anything else.
Well, with that information, that's encouraging to our viewers, to understand just exactly how that money will be spent.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the renewal bond being requested now?
Well, first of all, the old authority runs out. So, it was this year. We had to do it this year. We have no longer the legal authority to sell bonds. We can only do this with the authorization of the taxpayers of Genesee County, and that's why we are back on the ballot again. Really, about every 5 or 6 or 7 years, for one thing or another, we have to go before the voters, and we have to ask their permission. We have an operating millage, which has to be renewed every 7 to 10 years. We have the bond authority has to be renewed every 5 to 7 years, depending on how the bonds go. What we have done is promise that we are going to structure the sales of the new bonds so that it doesn't change your tax rate. So your tax rate stays the same. We do that by, in essence, controlling how much we sell when we sell it. Now, one of the advantages of right now is, as I'm sure many of your viewers know, interest rates are very, very low. This is a very good time to go out into the bond market. In fact, we have in the last couple of years refinanced some existing bonds. In fact, we've saved the taxpayers of Genesee County through over $3.3 million that would have been charged to the taxpayers otherwise, but will not be because we refinance. You look at car loans now; they're like 2% to get a car, and houses are going for 5 and 6%. Well, when you go out into the bond market, you're getting very, very good rates right now. So this is a good time to go. We have to do it now, or we don't have a bonding authority anymore. And the needs never go away. Mott College is this year celebrating its 90th anniversary. We have been here since 1923. Well, you get 90 years old. Hey, we all need a little help now and again, Some of the equipment has to be maintained, and these sort of things. There are two forces at work. There's first the buildings.
Sure.
Roofs have to be repaired. Furnaces have to be fixed or replaced. All of this. We have a very large institution. Every year we have almost 20,000 people on campus. We have over 1 million square feet of floor space in our facilities. Many of our buildings are very old. Some are, like the newest one on campus is the Regional Technology Center, but even that's been open for 12 years. So we have to maintain things, and it's so much more cost effective to fix things before they break. In fact, there's a theory in kind of physical plant management that talks about you can run to collapse, which is you don't worry about the machine, you don't worry about maintenance, you just run it till it dies, and then you buy a new machine. Well, that tends to be pretty inefficient. The best way to do it is you run it till scheduled maintenance, and then you go in and you fix it, you replace belts and filters or whatever it is, however the machine goes, and then it'll go back up and run again for a long time, and then next scheduled maintenance, then the next scheduled maintenance. You can get 50% more life out of a piece of equipment if you take care of it.
Sure, absolutely.
And what we've really seen a lot, and you see it in a lot of our school systems and places, because everyone's short of money. We totally get that. But you see that facilities they'll just get worse and worse and worse. They'll crumble. Finally, you've got kids taking classes in leaky rooms and the windows, wind blowing through the windows, all this stuff. We are very serious about giving our students a learning environment that is supportive and comfortable, and it's not luxurious. You've been to Mott College. We're not living in the lap of luxury, but it's clean, it's orderly, it's neat, and it's good for the students to work in. And this is a great asset for our community. Our community has had Mott Community College, which is recognized all around the country as one of the finest community colleges in the country. In fact, the Aspen Institute has rated us one of the 10 best community colleges out of 1,200 around the country.
That's fantastic.
So obviously we're doing something right, but we take it seriously. We take the responsibility seriously. This asset is not ours. It belongs to the people of Genesee County. It was there long before I ever came along. It's going to be there long after I'm gone. And it is, while it's in our hands, we have the responsibility to hand it on to the next generation in good condition so that it can go on for another 90 years and beyond that.
And I'm a graduate of Mott Community College, and I just love the atmosphere that the school has created. It's good, it's good for a great learning atmosphere and experience. You spoke about technology, and I know that you have a technology a center. Is there any thought on as technology grows to in some districts? All right, they're replacing the books with computers. Now, does and iPads? Does Mott have a thought on that?
Well, it's one of the interesting things about where we are in education. Technology is now in almost every program. I mean, English literature, they're using computers. And in many, many classes, especially the health sciences, the computer sciences, the technology programs, and we're very, very far advanced in that. We have some of the most cutting-edge programs in the world at Mott College. But technology is critical, and unfortunately it changes very, very fast. You buy an expensive piece of equipment, and in a few years it has no worth.
Exactly.
Try and sell a 10-year-old computer, people will give you $10 for it. In fact, just this morning we had Marjorie Raymer, who's the editor of the Flint Journal, over on the campus. We had a meeting with her, and we took her on a tour and showed her some of our new, like our nursing program. We have a fabulous lab in the nursing program with all this great computer simulation technology. But she made the point that 10 years ago at the Flint Journal, they had one computer that was in the back of the room, and nobody used it for anything. That was 10 years ago. And now everything is computerized. Things move so quickly. And now you talked about textbooks. What you usually get when you buy a textbook now, when you go to college, you may get the physical book, but there's almost always a CD in the book. And the book may give you, 500 pages of information, but the CD gives you 5,000 pages more. Eventually, I think we're going to get to the point where we're never going to get away from the printed book, at least not in my lifetime, and, probably not beyond that. But more and more and more, the technology is becoming essential. For a student to go to college these days and not have access to a computer makes it very, very difficult to learn and to do their work. That's one of the reasons we have several computer labs that are open late into the night, and they're almost always full of students, but we want our students to have this access. In fact, Mott Community College runs in the city of Flint 3 community technology centers. There's the center up at the Great Lakes Metropolitan Baptist Center up on the north side of Flint. There's the Hispanic Center over on the east side. And then there's the Disability Network Center down on Dorr Highway and South Dorr Highway. And these are all places where people in the community, you don't have to be registered to be a student at Mott College, but you can come in and sign up for a class that will be free, and they will teach you how to use the complete computer, how to use the internet, how to get out there, get over this digital divide in our community. Because, there's always been, it always helps to have more money than not have money. That's always been an advantage in any environment. But we're also getting to this point where certain people have access to technology. If you have the more affluent family you come from, you probably have a computer at home. You may have more than one. You have internet at home. You have all these services. But there are many people in our community, they don't have that luxury. They don't have these things. So we helped, working with other groups, the Concerned Pastors, the GI Forum, the Disability Network. We went in and built these community technology centers out in the community so the community could have access to this technology. But certainly our students, especially, if you talk about technology, you talk about health sciences, I was telling you about how Marjorie Raymer was on this tour today. Well, we went up to our nursing lab. The nursing lab is huge, and it looks like a hospital. It's literally about 4 wards of a hospital. They're all set up with the beds, the equipment, and in the beds are these computerized simulation, these sim men, they're called, and they have, these things are absolutely brilliant. They can sweat, they can cry, their lungs can change, they can all be programmed. And what you've got is students going in there, they look at this dummy man, this woman made of plastic and wires and machinery, but they have to analyze the symptoms. You know, there's sounds coming out of the lungs or sounds coming out of the bowels. The person is talking or the machine is talking. They have to make a diagnosis, and if they do a treatment, the machine, the simulator, knows how to respond. So if they do something wrong, maybe the simulator dies, you know.
Well, we don't want that.
But we don't want that to happen. But if you make that mistake, make it out of a machine, not a human being.
Exactly.
In fact, we have surgeons, practicing surgeons from hospitals in our community who come to practice on these things. Because they're so good. But this is what we need. Like you take something like nursing. 90% of the nurses in Genesee County have come through Mott Community College. That's where they came from. This is where our skilled tradespeople come from. This is where our computer experts come from. Aside from all of the other people, the college transfer and all those other thousands and thousands of people. But technology is becoming so essential, and we're constantly having to update. I mean, every machine on campus has a replacement program. It's all set up in advance that, you know, this is good for 3 years, this is good for 5 years, whatever. And we're trying to stay ahead so that our students from our community, when they go out in the world, they are ready to go.
Fantastic. Does Mott Community College have satellite campuses?
Yes, we do, Ron. Thank you for mentioning that. Here in Genesee County, we have one up on the north end, in Clio, up in Clio. And aside from those community technology centers I was talking about, we have a full site up in Clio. We have another one down in Fenton. So that both on the north end of the county and the south end of the county, you have access to classes right nearby.
Great, that's fantastic news. Back to the bond proposal.
Yeah.
What exactly will it cost the taxpayers?
If you own a $100,000 house, most of us don't own a $100,000 house, but that makes the math easy. It would cost you $43.50 a year. That less than $44 on a $100,000 house, because the millage rate is 0.87 of a mill.
Okay.
So like if you have a $10,000 house, it'd be $4.35. You can work the math out yourself, but it is what taxpayers are paying now. We're not asking for an increase. We understand not many of us can afford any more taxes right now. We understand that. So all we're asking to do is keep the funding we have now, and we will structure the bonds so that the interest rate does not change.
That's wonderful. That's good news. All of those things that you've talked about are marvelous, and I'm sure that our viewers are very interested in. As alumni of Mott Community College, I encourage everybody to get out and vote and make this happen. This proposal pass. It's very essential, for the community, the state, and the nation.
Well, and November 5th is the election date. Tuesday, November 5th. It's the regular November election. In fact, sometimes in the past, you sometimes see people trying to slip a little election aside. They'll put it in May on a Monday or something. We don't want to do that. We know the community supports Mott College. If we get enough people to the polls, this will pass. So that's why we went to the biggest election we could find this year, and that's the November election. A lot of the cities all around the county, from Montrose to Grand Blanc, and from Fenton to Swartz Creek, and the city of Flint, of course, city of Burton, The cities are all having elections. There are a number of school issues on the ballot, too. So this is the place where more people will vote at this election than any other election this year, so that's why we went there.
The only way that this bond proposal money is collected, how?
It goes through property taxes. It's on your bill when you pay your property taxes. There is, they list all those things, the local schools, the county, and the veterans, and police, and all those things, depending on where you live, because, of course, every community has its own tax structure. But this is a county-wide tax. It's been there already. It's been there for years and years. It's been on your tax bill. And we're only asking to keep the current tax funding that we have now.
Lord forbid that this doesn't occur, but what would happen if the bond proposal is not passed?
In the short term, people wouldn't save much at all. If it does go down, they'd save, it would go from 0.87 of a mil to 0.80 of a mil. It would save $100,000. We go back to the $100,000 house. If you're lucky enough to have a $100,000 house, it would save you $3. If you have a $10,000 house, it'd save you 30 cents. But that's what would happen the first year. Slowly, that rate would go down as the bonds are sold off. But the problem with that is, of course, the institutions, the facilities would begin to decline. And we've seen what has happened, especially in some of our school districts. When the decline starts, you get so far behind. Instead of doing the less expensive maintenance, you know how it is. If your house needs a new roof, if you put off getting that new roof, then when you do go to replace your house roof, which is probably leaky, then all of a sudden you're having to replace wood, and pretty soon you're having to rip things up, and pretty soon what was maybe a small bill or, a reasonable bill now becomes a big bill, and then you get into the situation where we abandon buildings, and we've seen schools close because they can't. I mean, look at Central High School. The reason Central High School in Flint closed was that maintenance had been put off so long, they were looking at like a $20 million bill to get that building up to snuff again. Right? Nobody's got that kind of money anymore. Sure. So if you don't maintain it as you go, you're going to have bigger bills down the line, or you're going to lose these assets. And our community's lost. I mean, I'm born in Flint. I'm raised here. This is where I live. I live in the city. We've lost too many of our assets. We've seen schools go, buildings goes, factory goes. We've got empty lots where there used to be productive, viable facilities there, and now they're just weeds and trash. We don't need any more of that. We need to keep our assets. We need to keep them alive. And here is an institution in the heart of our community which is alive and vital and respected, and we handle our money carefully. We're respectful of our community. We're respectful of our students. I'm not saying we're perfect, but by gosh, we make a serious effort to do this right. And it's recognized around the world. I mean, it's recognized all over that we are one of the best community colleges in the country. And we want to keep it that way, and we want to keep our community strong. Because we only exist because of Genesee County. That's why we came into being. We are the only college on the planet that exists because of Genesee County, and we are always evaluating and analyzing what we do to make sure it meets the needs of Genesee County.
Mott also has a wonderful athletic program.
Yes.
Can you talk about that for a few minutes?
Well, when you look at, let's start with probably our most famous basketball, men's basketball, under Coach Steve Schmidt, who this month is being inducted into his third Hall of Fame. He's already in the Flint Athletic Hall of Fame and the NJCAA, National Junior College Athletic Association Hall of Fame. He's now being inducted into the Basketball Coaches of Michigan Hall of Fame. He's the most winningest coach we've ever had. In the last 10 years, he's had 4 national championships, 3 runners-up where they were the second place. They played in the final game and just lost the final game, and another time they were the third runner-up. I mean, for 10 years, that's pretty good. And I couldn't tell you how many state championships and conference championships. And Steve Schmidt's program is not the only one. It's not just men's basketball. Women's basketball has been excellent. women's volleyball. They were conference champions last year. The golf team, I think, was rated in the top 10 nationally last year. Won the state championship. We have so many trophies over at the Ballot Fieldhouse. They can't even put them all out. They've got them in storerooms. And I will say this for anyone in the Flint area, anyone in Genesee County, if you want good sports without, breaking the bank, come to a Mott basketball game. You're going to see great athletes who are there for the love of it. The ticket is $5. The popcorn's 50 cents. I mean, we're not, this is not like going down to the Palace, and I love to go down to the Palace or Tiger Stadium, but it's a serious expenditure of money.
Sure, absolutely.
You come to a Mott game, you bring the whole family, give them all a hot dog and pop and some popcorn, and you won't break a 20. And it's fun. It's great basketball. Competitive young athletes, many of them from our own community. We got a lot of Genesee County and Flint people there. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, I encourage anyone, come to a Mott basketball game. You'll have a blast.
Well, it appears that, not appears, because I know for a fact that Mott Community College is an all-around, they've incorporated everything into their college structure. Let's recap this bond issue again for the listening audience. This is a renewal.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Okay.
Talk to that.
I'll go real quick. The election is Tuesday, November 5th. Anyone who lives in any one of the 21 school districts in Genesee County, from Montrose to Goodrich, from Linden to Lakeville, you can vote in this. And we are not asking for anything new. We are not asking for new money. We are asking for a renewal to keep the bonding authority we have now. We're very respectful of the voters. We treat it very seriously. And we are hoping that anyone in Genesee County will turn out to vote. We hope you'll vote yes, but whether you vote yes or no, we want you to vote. We want you to participate. It's very important for our community. And I'll mention one thing very quickly. Mott Community College is the #1 college destination for every high school in Genesee County. I don't care if you're talking Davison, Swartz Creek, Flint, Fenton, Grand Lake, doesn't make any difference. This is where our people go. And one thing that's very important, and a lot of our older voters, the seniors, will be particularly pleased with this, 95% of Mott graduates stay in Michigan. 69% of them stay in Genesee County when they're working. And so often you got our people who go to, say, Ann Arbor or East Lansing, they got a wonderful education. Half of them leave the state. They're gone. We've helped pay for their education, and God bless them. I'm respectful. I understand, life is tough out there right now, but our people stay here. The graduates of Mott College, they're like yourself. They stay in this community. They work in this community. You don't have to go visit your grandkids once a year because they're living down in Texas. Let's keep them right here in our own county.
That's good. And I understand that all seniors over 65 get a free tuition?
Over 60. When you hit 60, it's called the Gold Card, and we believe you've been paying taxes so long that you deserve a break. And we don't charge tuition for seniors who live within our district, live in Genesee County. You get free tuition.
Good. And with that, we must bring the In My Opinion show to a close. But first, please, voters, get out on November the 5th and vote for the passage of this bond renewal. I want to thank you, Mr. Michael Kelly, for appearing on the In My Opinion show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
This is Ronald Robinson and friends saying for the In My Opinion show, stay focused.